Every time I'm getting ready for a 4 or 5 day canoe camping trip, I always get asked what foods you bring out in the backcountry for that long and how do you avoid it from perishing? Now, the part that I personally enjoy the most about going out on wilderness canoe trips is to be on the water as much as possible all day long and paddling. For me, I'm not a huge fan of like cooking super elaborate meals when I'm out on my big trips because, like I said, the part that I enjoy the most is to be traveling on the water. But it has become very important to me over the past few years to try to incorporate and eat healthier and more fresh foods when I'm out on my trips. Now, the first tip that I have for you if you're looking to bring more fresh foods out on your adventure, but you don't want to be cooking for hours at camp, is that meal prepping at home is crucial. And today I'm prepping for a 4-day canoe trip with the kids. Again, we're going over Labor Day weekend, and I'm gonna be making and prepping the spaghetti sauce so that all I have to do when I get to camp is basically cook the pastas, rewarm the spaghetti sauce that already has all the vegetables and the meat in there, put it together, and we're ready to eat. Prepping your meals applies for every meal that you want to do out in the backcountry. So if you're planning on frying some vegetables, have them already pre-cut. If you're planning on frying some meat, have also that already pre-cut. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. If you're looking to eat fresh vegetables though out in the backcountry or fresh fruits, I really don't recommend you pre-cut them because they do get soggy a lot faster once they're cut. So keep those as wholes, but for anything that you're going to cook, preparation is key so that you can execute it fast and so that it's not a burden when you're tired at camp. Now, once all of your food prep is done, the best way to make sure that it doesn't perish, the recommendation that I have for all of you guys is that you freeze everything. So basically everything that you can freeze, you freeze, because the goal here is to have this massive mass of ice when you first start so it lasts as long as possible. And then the best way to bring your food along with you on your trips is certainly a food barrel like this with a solid harness so you can carry it properly on your back. And the food barrel is really the best way to protect yourself from critters and from bears. And now we have all of our food prepped and frozen for our entire week out in the backcountry. And you can go ahead and put all that frozen at the bottom of your barrel and it'll last a few days for sure. But the way I have found myself to be able to really extend the life of all that food, I have this really old cooler that is not ideal for a barrel. Barrel coolers do exist, and I do recommend, if you don't have a cooler that fits in your barrel, to buy the actual barrel cooler. But for me, this cooler actually does fit in the barrel at the bottom, and because it's a soft shell cooler, I can kind of make it fit all around at the bottom to maximize my space. And then I'll take all of my frozen food on the morning of that I leave and I'll put everything in here. The last time we were out, the kids and I, in La Vérandrie Park, I actually took a bunch of footage of me cooking a lot of the different meals that I brought out there. So let's go check it out, and it'll give you concrete examples of actual meals that I bring out in the backcountry with me and how I have them prep and how I actually cook them, the execution of all of this when I'm out on trips. So on the menu tonight for the first night, I wanted to keep it really simple. The first day is always a big day, even though you might not travel far on the water. Decided to go for beef tacos. So very simply, all I had to do here is I made sure I kept it on top of the barrel so it was nice and easy. I fried the veggies that I pre-cut at home already. And then once they were fried, I added the meat, put a couple of spices in there. You can even get some actual taco spices if you want. For me, it was just Montreal steak spice, a little bit of pepper. And then after that, it'll be pretty much done, where all we need to do is assemble them. So everybody's gonna come to get their own tortillas, add some salsa to it, and of course, some good old cheese. Everybody will be pretty happy, I think, because we are pretty hungry. Little tip though, I've tried it with the hard shells before. Stick to soft shells. All right, so it's day 3 of our trip here in La Vérandrie, and for the first morning and the second morning, we kept it really simple for breakfast. Bagels are always a winner, especially with the kids, and cream cheese. So all we do is, you can always toast them over fire. I was just too lazy both mornings to do that. Actually, yesterday was also raining. So all I do is that I toast them basically at low fire in the pan. Use good old cream cheese and everybody's happy. It's a good way to sustain you for a long time. Good amount of energy, and it fills up everybody. So, what a spot for a lunch break. Now, for typically speaking, for the first 2 days of any trip, I'm just a huge fan of pita wrap, cold cut sandwiches. So I keep it pretty simple. Mayo, mustard, cold cut, some cheese. It's always a winner for everybody. There's something about eating a sandwich by the water that just is always a great option. Cheers, everybody. Tonight on the menu, we've got chicken alfredo, pastas. It's a very simple meal to make. Really, the key in this meal for the backcountry is the prep at home. All you start with is saute all your vegetables, pre-cut vegetables. Once those are nice and soft, then you add the chicken to it. Cook until the chicken is all done, and then put it aside. Then we're gonna be doing the pastas. We're gonna drain the water, and after the water is drained, we're gonna basically combine the Alfredo sauce, the chicken and the vegetables, and we're gonna kind of heat the whole thing together to make sure everything is kind of nice and warm, and it'll be delicious. That's what you call eating like kings. And look at that sunset, holy cow. For tonight's dinner on day 3, we've got something pretty basic actually. It's a spaghetti meatball, and the best way to prep it is very simple. If you go to Costco, you can buy a big bag of already cooked and frozen meatballs, and you get the marinara sauce. And I'm cheating a little bit here. It's not exactly spaghetti, it's another kind of pasta. I just find spaghetti a tough one for the kids to eat. Once the pastas are done, I just put in the meatballs and the sauce directly in the big pot, and I kind of heat the whole thing up a little bit. I had extra mushrooms from a previous dinner that we forgot to use, so I threw them in there as well. You can add some veggies easily to that if you want to. You could saute them before, but I keep it pretty simple for day 3, and it's gonna be a winner, I'm sure. 4th day here on our trip, 3rd morning though, and it's a rainy one. And what better way to boost up the morale before we have to hit the water with some pancakes. One of my very favorite breakfasts to do with the kids out on a canoe camping trip. It's super simple. My best recommendation is buy the pancake mix. That's add water only. And don't forget the maple syrup. Oh yeah, and the real stuff. You really want to get that real Canadian maple syrup. It's a little long of a breakfast to make, to be honest, but like I said, in a morning like this where we're just waiting out for the rain to pass and for the time to be better, it's a great way to, make everybody happy at camp. If you want to find out more about the level 6 badass harness, what I believe is the best harness on the market for canoe barrels, go check out this video right here. And otherwise, guys, I will see you as always in the next video.